I'm here with Erik Whynot from GARFINKEL Whynot. You are presenting on Anatomy of an Association project. Obviously, attorneys, and I preach this, should be involved in the process of building a project, negotiating the project. What is the entry point for an attorney, and kind of where is the threshold that you advise your boards to kind of start to get you involved?
A board should get their attorney involved in any contract negotiation, whether it's a complicated roofing contract or some sort of simple agreement. There's always going to be business and legal terms, and the legal terms are, it's like trying to put a carburetor together. I couldn't put a carburetor together even with the instruction manual, and a lot of times it's tough or even boring for a board member to go through pages and pages of boilerplate and figure out what it means. So I think you need to get your attorney involved pretty early in the process.
Where do you see project managers getting plugged in, like engineers for a roofing or construction project? How closely are you working with them, or are they working directly with the board or maybe a manager?
Usually the attorney only comes in the consultant or project manager standpoint from reviewing and analyzing the contract that first goes to the project manager, because the association needs to be sure exactly what sort of authority this project manager has, because during the term of the project he's going to be an agent of the corporation, and the association should maintain some sort of control and oversight on that on behalf of their membership. As far as my interaction with the engineer, it depends on the project. It depends on the project. I do a lot of construction defect work, so I'm intimately familiar with building envelope and roofing type issues. And most of the times, I'm familiar with or know the consultant. So if there's any type of association issue or board contact issue, I may get involved. But primarily, the consultant's going to be working with the board of directors. Last year, I taught a class for SCCA on just basic contract law. Although with SCCA, I can't teach a 101 course, because all the 101, everyone knows the basic stuff. So the contract course I taught last year, this sort of piggybacks on that, but goes to an even more narrow type of scope and focus on project-specific issues that the board should consider. Every vendor does have their own contract, and of course that contract is going to favor the vendor. That's how it is. And what my job is to take that contract and make it favor my client, which is the association. So a lot of times it's good for the vendor to send over a contract, because frankly it's going to save attorney's fees, because you already have a skeleton, at least a skeleton of a contract, and you have a document that the contractor is familiar with, as opposed to me putting together my own document, which may just go head to head against theirs. So usually what happens is the contract will come over to me, and then I'll redline it and strike through things, and advise the board and recommend and talk with the board as far as what my recommendations are. And then send it back over to the contractor, and you negotiate it just like that. I mean, typically you would use the contractor's contract as a skeleton. And then oftentimes in these types of larger projects, for example, if you're doing the roof or the roads in a condominium, you're going to be looking at a standard AIA contract. And those are standard across the nation. States have some different spins on them or some different clauses, but generally it would be a standard contract that I would mark up.
Okay. I always get a lot of questions from boards about what should the insurance requirements be, and we've had a lot of conversation on this. The insurance section seems to be unknown, and a lot of boards feel like it's just take it or leave it. And like you mentioned, everything is negotiable, everything is changeable. It's free for me to review them. They don't pay me an hourly rate. I always beg them, send them to me, let me take a look at what you're signing up for, because this is a third-party coverage to protect the association and its owners through the general liability and the auto liability and the workers' comp policies.
Yeah. Well, one interesting thing you bring up, and this is the concept of leverage. It's not like if I want to go skydiving, I got to sign away my life, my sink, I got to sign away my dog, or else I can't jump out of the plane. But if I want to jump out of the plane, I'm going to sign that adhesion contract. Same thing if you're going skiing. You look on the back of your lift ticket, and there's all kinds of waivers. But in these types of situations, the association has to recognize that it does have leverage. And that leverage needs to be applied in the open marketplace to have contractors and vendors compete against each other for your business. It's so when you say that it's viewed as take it or leave it, that should not be the view. The view should be you, the consumer, and if this engineer isn't providing you the price or what you need, then you go to another engineer. Someone else out there wants your business, and you need to use that and recognize your leverage when you're negotiating. With insurance, again, I have a surface level knowledge of insurance, so when it comes to the insurance requirements, I'm going to be sending them to you. I'm going to be sending them to you because you got to use your experts. You got to use your experts.